The series Prison Break Season 1 begins with the story of a man named Michael, and we see him getting a tattoo on his body. Here, the girl who was just sitting there was surprised by the tattoos, because usually these tattoos take years to accumulate, but this young man has only taken 2 weeks, and he responds to her saying thank you. But I don't have time for explanations, and he left her and went on. Michael is going to show off the luxurious and elegant houses that overlook the river, whether it's in Chicago or the biggest city in the state of Illinois, America. And during this time, we see him collecting pictures and magazines that were hung on the wall, and it was clear that he was planning something specific in his mind. In those moments, when he was collecting the magazines, there was a newspaper with a person named Lacone Boros, or it was written on the newspaper, the killer. The vice president is scheduled for execution on the 11th of May. Or also, a newspaper shows us a person named John Brozo, who had been sentenced to life in prison. Or afterwards, we see a newspaper listing the name of Dr. Sarah Tangretti, who works in the prison. And here we see a piece of news about a person named D.B. Cooper, who by the way is a real person, and he pulled off a con worth millions of dollars, and traveled with them. Up until now, the case is still open, and no one knows where he is. Then, Michael goes and collects all these newspapers and throws them into the river that is in front of his apartment. After a day, he goes and commits a robbery at a bank. And here we notice that Michael was essentially looking to steal anything, or he wanted to kill someone. So the police quickly arrived and arrested him. And here we understand, briefly, that he wanted to leave. Michael goes to court and meets the judge, where he confesses to his crime simply, without any investigation. The judge responds, telling him that the proceedings will take some time before a verdict is issued. So he doesn't finish. We see Algie, who is his nephew, and he tells him, "Go home, I don't want you to stay here." After some time passes, Michael meets his lawyer, whose name is Veronica, and we see her. She tells him, "Why did you do this to yourself?" Or, I can't respond to that." And he says to her, "You helped me a lot, so this time, just leave me to handle it." The court proceedings begin, and here we understand that she knew Michael from way back. Oh, she knows all of Michael's family, and after a period of time we see the trial unfold, and the judge sentences her to 5 years in prison with hard labor and strict security. So we see Michael adjusting in Fox River, or afterward we see Michael O. He meets the officer that everyone hates, whose name is Brad Bellick, who is notorious for being so selfish and only caring about money. Meanwhile, we see the officer as he tells Michael that there are orders he must comply with. The first order is no fighting, or you better watch yourself before I lose my cool. And the second order, he is committed to the first matter. Or later, we will see what Michael thinks and ignores it. He leaves and goes away, and he ran into his cellmate, who is a Mexican inmate named Fernando, and they began to get to know each other. Fernando tells him that this is his first day here, and during this, he sees inmates returning to their cell, and he spots one who is stabbing another, and Michael realizes that this prison is not. It will be easy for him, or after a while they come out to the yard, so Fernando stays. Regarding all the prisoners inside this prison, he introduces him to a guy named Charles, and everyone in the prison believes he is D.B. Cooper. So he tells them he isn't, and that he has been here for a long time for a different charge. Then we see Michael as he goes and escapes with the newspaper or into one of the sewer areas without. Someone pays attention and turns to Fernando, saying that he's looking for a person named Lincoln Burrows, in a place different from the one they were in, and it is very far away, or it was surrounded by barbed wire. Mind you, this guy is accused of killing the brother of the President of the United States, and in a month he's going to be executed in the electric chair. And he never mingles with the inmates. But when he goes to pray at the church or with the workers in prison, he mixes with them. These funds are too close to the gang members. Don't ever think about working with them because they only want their friends and acquaintances. Here you will only be able to meet him at the church. Then the program asks Michael why he wants to meet him, and he replies that this is his brother. And suddenly, Michael remembers his visit. The brother in prison tells him that he has been sentenced to death, so let's be. He continues his speech and tells him that he didn't kill anyone, and the one accusing him wants to get rid of him quickly, so later he wouldn't go to John Abrucci and asks him to work with the laborers in the prison, but he refuses. But Michael insists and tells him he will help him. So he gives him a paper shaped like a duck, so he remembers him. When you need me, come to me. As we speak, he is going to the hospital jail to get his insulin shot, and we know that Michael is diabetic. So he meets Dr. Sarah, or gets introduced to her, and the doctor tells him that the insulin must be taken here because it's not permitted to stay with the duck replica into the sewage system that's available from the hospital. Or suddenly, he goes to the church and sees his brother Lincoln, and he is shocked. Because he saw that Michael was not in prison, Michael tells him, "I'm going to let you escape from this place," to which he replies and says, "Impossible, you won't be able to." Or Michael replies to him and says, "No, there's nothing impossible." Or we understand that it's not him.